What's up, guys? I hope this video finds you well. It has been a day here at work. So I am looking forward to just having some fun and talking and looking at some baseball cards with you guys. That is a great stress relief. But we're going to do part 2 of probably 4 videos on the Diamond Kings. This one is going to be my favorite. This is the 1992 and 1993 Diamond Kings. To me, the best Diamond Kings of all time. They're just incredible. Once again, I'm doing, these PSA 9 runs that I started a long time ago. I don't submit anymore, but I still will pick them up here and there if I find them graded in 9s. And so I don't have nearly the whole set of these two. Somehow I've gotten a lot more of the 93s than 92s, even though 92s are my favorite. But it's just the way it's worked out. These are really, really tough to get in 9s. So it's just kind of a crazy thing. But anyhow, I wanted to show a couple of, honorable mentions here at the beginning of the Diamond King Part 2 video. In Canada, McDonald's had some Donruss cards that they would give out in packs at the McDonald's is up there, and they put inserts in that are very similar to Diamond King. So they had the regular looking 92 Donruss cards, but they had different photos, and they had a McDonald's logo on the back, stuff like that. I've shown them before, but they had 6 special cards that were kind of like their quote-unquote Diamond Kings for that particular set. So the backs look like this. It's got the McDonald's MVP logo up there in the corner on the back. But this is Joe Carter. So they did 6 of these, of 6 of the Blue Jays from their championship team. But they did kind of the glossy gold embossing, kind of a card, kind of like a Diamond King on these. And there's only 6 of them, whereas, the regular set has more players. But these were kind of like the Diamond King inserts in that set. I would have not known anything about this back in those days. No idea what was going on in Canada, no internet, nothing like that. So had no idea those existed. When I found out, I fell in love with them. That's a really, really tough PSA 9 Joe Carter there, just to represent that set. Also, 92 had Triple Play, and Triple Play had a gallery of stars instead of having Diamond Kings. It had a gallery of stars. And here's what the backs looked like on those. But it was basically the Diamond Kings with Perez Steel art. As you can see, Dick Perez, Perez Steel galleries there. Basically the same kind of a thing, but they had some wild backgrounds. There's the Bagwell. Treat also did a deal of this with some Bagwell autographs. But there's a 9 of the Gallery of Stars Bagwell. So you can see the banners at the top and the bottom. The way they did that is very reminiscent of Diamond Kings. Here is the Cal Ripken Jr. Beautiful card there. Love the background on that. But these had silver embossing. So you had the gold embossing on these. You had gold embossing on Diamond Kings, and then they did silver embossing on the Triple Play. And that is a beautiful Frank Thomas. That art is really, really good. So you can see it still says Donruss across the top, a little less noticeable on the Bagwell, but it's there on all of them. But really beautiful Frank Thomas in this set. Just gorgeous cards. So these were Gallery of Stars and the Triple Play product. It was very similar to the regular Donruss Diamond Kings. But this was the first year that they did the inserts. So it's pretty cool that they came out of the gate doing this as well. And there's the Griffey. I don't like that art as much as I like the Thomas or even the other ones. He doesn't look too happy. He doesn't look just super great. It's not like he's Scott Reindeer Studios or something. Now, Dick Perez was good, but he was just interesting, the poses they chose and stuff. Interesting background on that with the stars there. But yeah, that's the Griffey. So that's some of the Gallery of Stars. And then those MVPs from McDonald's in Canada. Just to kind of show you they were doing this kind of stuff right out of the gate in 92 in different kind of products. So up through 92, all the way up from 82 to 91, Diamond Kings were just part of the set. Like they were the, one guy per team, the first 26 or later on first 30 guys in your first cards in the set would be, the 30 Diamond King guys. But then in 1992, they decided to up the game. They got 92 Fleer, Rookie Sensations, all this kind of stuff coming out. And Donruss wanted to do the Diamond Kings as a special card. So they did special inserts where there was like 4 a box or whatever it was. Not super rare like stuff today, but still, you weren't pulling these out of every pack. And they did Diamond Kings as an insert, and then they made them glossy with awesome art, and then they did gold embossing. They just made it a whole better product and made it a chase card, which was what we would have called it back in the day. Now it's just, you call them inserts, but they were called chase cards. And they made the Diamond Kings chase cards instead of just standard. So super, super cool kind of the way they did that. But we are going to start with the 93s here. 93s, the backs looked like this. And in the front, this is the checklist, Dick Perez. I will show you the 92 checklist just to show you. But there is the 92 Dick Perez. You can see how they did it different with this picture and stuff. But this was the original 1992, the first ones with the blue back. 93s had the green back. And then they did the checklist blue and green as well. But that is how 1993 started. And then you had David Need. He was the big prospect over there with the expansion Rockies. He was going to be a big deal. I mean, he was a good pitcher, but that was a super hot guy at the time. You got Bip Roberts. He was a crafty little player. A lot of these guys were really good. I mean, that's why I like Diamond Kings, like I've talked about before. You get a snapshot in time of who was playing great at the time, These guys were doing really well to be able to even get a Diamond King. Here is Bob Tewksbury. Unfortunately, it's got a crack case, but Bob Tewksbury there, really good pitcher. Eric Karros, one of the 5 in a row Rookies of the Year the Dodgers had. They had a string of Rookies of the Year, man. It was just crazy. You got Karros, Piazza, Hollinsworth, Nomo, one more. There's one more in there. But they had a bunch of, and Mondesi, Raul Mondesi. Next up, Roberto Kelly. And some of these are like pop 1s or really, really low pops on the, pop report, because not a lot of these are graded. And even if they are, they don't get 9s. Here is Andy Van Slyke, 1993 Diamond King. These are just great looking cards. You got the Dick Perez art, and you got the really good looking glossy embossed cards. And you got to remember, they didn't have all this stuff back then. There wasn't inserts and everything leading up to this. These were mind-blowing. I remember going to that little show and Rookie Sensations in 92, and Diamond Kings were coming out, and everybody was a buzz about trying to pull these things. Carlos Baerga, one of the best second basemen of his time. He'd get 200 hits a year. Really, really great hitter, Carlos Baerga. He's still in baseball doing like agent type stuff. There is Oral Hershiser. Amazing, amazing streak he had in 1988. But there is his 93 Diamond King in a PSA 9. Continuing the streak, 51 homer man himself, Cecil Fielder. He was awesome, man. He and his son hit the exact same amount of home runs in their career. Just kind of crazy how that happened. Just nuts. Gary Sheffield, 500 home run club guy that's not in the Hall for some reason. I guess steroid related stuff, but he was a great player. Almost got the Triple Crown around the time this card came out. Was an incredible, incredible player. Here's one near and dear to my heart. Craig Biggio. He had a 1993 Diamond King. I don't even remember back then. I didn't know he even had one. I don't think I ever pulled one of these. I remember the 92 Bagwell very, very well. One of my favorite cards ever. But 93 had a Biggio. 1993 also had Tommy Glavine. Really, really cool card there. These Diamond Kings were so awesome. Trying to get a run of these in 9s. Of course, I've been doing this for a long time. You have to just kind of add one here and there. Larry Walker, now Hall of Famer. 1993 Diamond King. Super cool. One of my favorite players back then, playing with those Blue Jays as well. Roberto Alomar, fantastic second baseman. Really cool looking card here, way they did the background. Just makes it pop. Roberto Alomar, 93 Diamond King, PSA 9. Next up, Big Mac with the A's. Super, super cool. Of course, wouldn't go to the Cardinals till 97, but awesome. Awesome card there. Big Mac, 93 Diamond King. Next up, rest in peace, Kirby Puckett. What a great player he was. Really good piece of art here. Just love these cards. These 92, 93 Diamond Kings are just some of my favorite cards ever. Favorite inserts ever. They kept the same design both years, and then they just, you know, changed the color of the back so you could tell easily, but they're just gorgeous. They are just super, super awesome if you ask me. Next up, the Rocket. Shout out Greg Midlife. There's Roger Clemens. Diamond King 93. PSA 9. Very cool card. One of my other favorites of all time, Ryan Sandberg. 93 Diamond King. Really cool card. Love that with the dark background. Just really, really stands out from the white Cubbies jersey. And last but certainly not least, the big one of the set, and a lot more of these get graded than any other one, Ken Griffey Jr. Super cool. Got the blue background. Just so awesome. So that was the big card in 93. The 93 Diamond King, Ken Griffey Jr., because he did not get a 92 like Frank Thomas and these other guys. So that is 93. Then we'll get into the 1992s. We looked at the checklist for Dick Perez there. Next up, super, super hot guy in 1991 with the Twins, Scott Erickson. He came up just blazing as a rookie. Just won like tons of games in a row. I think he ended up winning 21 or 20 games, and he, you know, would win the World Series with the Twins in 91. I thought he was going to be some kind of Hall of Famer or something. He was just awesome. So they made him a Diamond King immediately. 1992, Julio Franco. You know the stance. Everybody knows it was in that era. He had a very recognizable way that he stood and held the bat. So Julio Franco, super cool. Great looking Diamond King. And you read the backs of these, you kind of see what accomplishments they had, you know, why they were a Diamond King at the time, that kind of thing. I think it's super neat. But here is Harold Baines, everybody's favorite Hall of Famer. I don't knock him. I think he deserved it. He played for a long time, played really well, got a ton of stats. That's one reason to be in the Hall of Fame. So Harold Baines there. Here is Wade Boggs. What a hitter he was. My goodness. 1992 Diamond King. Original year for the inserts. Wade Boggs. He was a tremendous, tremendous hitter. He was awesome. So of course he's a deserving Diamond King. See if we can move this around a little bit here. Next up, another Hall of Famer, one of my favorite guys who would later play with those Blue Jays, Paul Molitor. Awesome, awesome hitter. Really, really great player. Molly, one of my favorite Diamond Kings ever. I love the way this looks. Shout out to Shane Shoebox. But there's Will Clark. I loved Will. He did too. And this is what I was talking about in the other video. He would always pull his front sleeve up before he hit. He'd get in the box and he'd pull this up and scrunch it up before he hit. I don't know why. It just made him feel comfortable. But that's cool that the Diamond King kind of depicts that. So that's the Will Clark 1992 Donruss Diamond King PSA 9. Next up, the big unit. Randy Johnson had a 92 Diamond King. How cool is that? Really, really cool card. I don't remember owning that one back in those times. I must have never pulled it or whatever, but that's super cool. I definitely had a bunch of these in Will Clark. And these next three are my big favorites of all time. No doubt about it. Jeff Bagwell. Jeff Bagwell, Diamond King. Of course, he was a rookie in 91, so they immediately made him a Diamond King. He got Rookie of the Year. Was super great right out of the gate. And he gets a 92 Diamond King. The other guy, super good piece of art here. Cal Ripken Jr. That is an all-time piece of art. What a great pose. Great piece of art. Good job, Mr. Perez. That is a killer card. That is a killer card. But those are two of my top three. And then this one, probably my favorite Diamond King ever. When it came out, it was hotter than a firecracker. Frank Thomas, what a great piece of art. Those three right there, Bagwell, Ripken, and Thomas, are the top three for me. Really great smile. Just a really, really great card. Just love that one to death. But we'll move this stuff around just for a second. We'll put Mr. Bagwell right here in front. You say, oh, you homer. Well, not just for that reason. But, so like I said, they decided in 91, that would be their last year of doing just the in the set Diamond Kings. 92, they would have inserts. And they had a meeting. So they had a corporate meeting that they wanted to pitch this, that they were going to have these shiny gold embossed inserts as Diamond Kings instead of just the regular base cards in the set. And they made some cool stuff. Now, it's speculated they made 10 to 20 of these. They gave out sets to some corporate folks in the meeting. Some people said it was a meeting with Kmart. Some people don't know. Whatever it is. They made some oversized 5x7 Diamond Kings. So you know we got to have something killer at the end of the video. And that's what we're going with here. So these are rare, rare, rare. Now you can find some of them pop up on eBay here and there. Usually raw. Usually not the great players. Sometimes it is some of the great players. But the top ones never show up. They really don't. The raw one during the pandemic of Molitor, that one there, just the raw 5x7 Super Diamond King, and they're called Diamond King Supers. There are Supers before this that they used to make. Those are not rare at all. It's only the 92 Supers that were pitching this idea to the corporate bigwigs. Those are the ones that are rare. The other years they made Super Diamond Kings that weren't in packs and stuff that you could buy. But that one right there in the pandemic went for $3,000 raw. So that tells you how rare they are and how valuable they were during that time. They're still valuable, but it really depends on what someone is willing to pay on these things, because there's only so many of them. You know, some of them may have been regraded, that kind of thing. So the pop report may not tell everything, but there's somewhere around 10 to 20 sets that were made, period. Of course, not distributed. Unless someone that was at the meetings gave them away or sold them, and then they made their way to the public through eBay or auctions or whatever, you can't ever see them. It's the only way they were. But I have the Jeff Bagwell. So here's the back. Looks just like the regular back, except for you can tell it's just a little bit more of a faded blue. But same design and all that kind of stuff. 1991 Leaf. DK11, they made them identical to the small ones. This thing is so awesome. Just to be able to have this is so cool. Bum, bum, bum. Check that thing out. Jeff Bagwell, Diamond King Supers. They gave it a 6. It's almost a perfect card. It's packed fresh, perfect. Everything except for this corner has a little bit of a thing on it. A little bit of a, not a dented corner because the back doesn't even have it. The back's perfectly flat. But it has some little bit of a line on that corner. Other than that, this thing has got to be an 8. I would have given it an 8. I mean, it looks like a 10 with a little bit of a flaw. If you want to knock it down from a 9 to an 8, when I sent it, I thought it was a 9. But you know how PSA is these days. But that is a Diamond King Super, probably only 10 or 20 of them in the world, next to his small counterpart there. Super, super rare Jeff Bagwell, and one of my favorite insert sets of all time. I am very, very happy to have this. The number doesn't matter, but I did want to get it slabbed back when I was sending this stuff. It presents really well. They didn't put it in a giant, crazy slab. This slab is very proportionate to this oversized card. So I think it's super attractive, and it protects it, and it's rarer than hen's teeth. So that's it, guys. 1992, 1993 Diamond Kings. Those were just unbelievable when they came out. I still love them to death. Just some of my favorites of all time. This to me is peak Diamond King. They are the best ever. And having the extremely rare Diamond King Super of my guy, local guy, Hall of Famer, Jeff Bagwell, just the icing on the cake. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving likes and positive comments and subscribing, all the stuff that you do for me and the rest of the community. Until next time, we'll see you. Thanks, guys.